Hi baby, how's your day at work today? Just, more clients to give me headaches. Wow, you made all this food and this wine and blue roses just the way I like it?
It's all for you, baby. Just, a nice ending to your stressful day. I love you.
I love you too. So, Cindy, since, we met 2 years ago, you know that you've been my heart and soul, and you've been my life, and you know that I wouldn't have any second thoughts about spending the rest of my life with you. So I guess, will you be my wife?
Hi beautiful souls, it's Tan here, obviously talking about Venus in partner 7th house in Synastry. So I hope that little skit kind of helped to give you the vibes of this Venus placement. So I've made an introduction to Synastry where I talk about role casting and stage and things like that, so you should probably watch that one first. Links up there in the description box below, because I'm going to be saying role casting and things. I'm going to be using some stage scenes, which if you haven't watched that, you're going to get a little bit confused. So when you have Venus in your partners or in someone's houses, the house person is going to show how the house person responds to the Venus person's beauty. Their values, their seduction technique, their way of attracting you, their commitment style, and their romance. So the style of the house person is going to be how the house person is going to view these qualities within the Venus person's Venus. If the aspects and everything else, all else being equal, and everything else is good, this is going to create a lot of pleasure and excitement and love. If other things are kind of negative within the synastry, then it's going to result in the opposite. And Venus is also a very giving planet because she's really willing to be giving of love. So the 7th house, as I mentioned in the introduction video, is that scene of the church where the people are getting married, because this house is the house of partnerships and commitments, whether that's romantic or not. And now Venus is the actor that comes onto the stage, and she's the epitome of love and beauty. And she's that actor that's probably the most beautiful, whether she's the protagonist or not. She's very beautiful, and she's the one that everybody loves. So when she comes into another person's 7th house, what happens here? Well, the house person is going to immediately kind of see the Venus person as being somebody that they would like to get married with in a romantic partnership. Somebody that they want to be committed to. If it's not romantic, if it's like a business partnership, it just seems ideal. If the house person themselves were, before they met with the Venus person, if they were more of like a player type, this one can really make them tone that down a little bit and be really willing to commit and stick with a commitment to the Venus person. It's really strange how that works out, but yeah, the house person becomes someone who is just monogamous from potentially being a more player and polygamous type of person. Because Venus here brings an atmosphere of trust, and the house person feels like they can really trust the Venus person with a lot of things. The Venus person will bring a lot of harmony, grace, elegance, and pleasure into the commitment. And the house person will obviously see Venus as being a beautiful partner. Kind of like the Venus in the 1st house video, where, I think that was the Venus person, tends to view the 1st house person as being the beautiful partner. 7th house person here will view the Venus person as being a beautiful partner to be with. The 1st house has kind of a different effect from all of the other houses because it's the house of the body and the personality, whereas the other houses are more of like areas of life. For both of these people, there is definitely a desire for a partnership and a relationship, because they both feel like the other person has what I need, has what I want, what I desire in a partnership. Now, there can be some negatives to this placement, and the negatives can be a little bit extreme, but it's not common. So if Venus is placed in somebody's 7th house, okay, and that Venus is making a negative or challenging aspect to the house person's other planets, especially Pluto. If that Venus squares or opposes the house person's Pluto, this can be really hard, because the Pluto person is going to see the Venus person as being someone they want to commit to. And because Pluto is so controlling and manipulative in its lowest expression, the Pluto person is going to do what they can to manipulate and control the Venus person, so the Venus person stays within that commitment that they have started off. And it's going to be really hard for the Venus person to actually break away or get out of this toxic atmosphere of commitment and relationship. Can be really dangerous, yeah. You know, the Venus person can kind of almost be sucked into Hades, hell of the underworld, and just be taken advantage of and kind of feel a little bit used by the Pluto person, who unconsciously is doing this. And if the Venus person finally does break away, then this can result in some hatred, because the 7th house is also the house of our open enemies. So this is one of the things that can lead to that kind of an open enemy situation between two people. There's also another negative that can come with this one, and that is if the Venus person has their Venus in the house person's 7th house, but the house person has their Venus in the Venus person's house that is not of a romantic nature, then this is going to be a one-sided. This can really result in a one-sided kind of a relationship, where the house person is ready to be committed, but the Venus person is not ready to be committed because they have the other person's Venus in a house where they just don't see the house person as being someone they want to commit to. So this is going to cause a push and pull, because the house person doesn't want to let that go, because Venus is coming into their such a committed house. And again, when it does finish, it's going to become kind of an open, this can create an atmosphere of open enemies or even hostility. But most likely this placement is positive, okay? It's one of the most positive Venus house placements that you can have in Synastry. So it's really good for building a life with someone, because Venus is in this house brings such an atmosphere of pleasantness when you want to do things like sign contracts together, go out house shopping for stuff for your house together, negotiating things together, finding that middle ground between give and take. They both give 50-50 and they both feel satisfied, and there's a lot of equality that's involved within this aspect, so it's mostly just really positive. And the Venus person can even bring an atmosphere of beauty and harmony within the home when they are with this person, because when you're committed, you're living together, so they can bring an atmosphere of just beauty and harmony into the life, the relationship, to the relationship relating day by day itself. You know what the Venus person can even do in this placement? They really make the marriage, or if you're living together, that situation highly romantic. Like, the Venus person will prepare dinner with romantic candlelight dinners for the house person. When they come home, they'll have roses sitting on the dining table and the wine, and just whatever these two people consider to be romantic, depending on like Venus signs and things. If it's in Taurus or Libra, whoa, it's really romantic, and it comes into this house, So yeah, the Venus person can really do it. And the house person loves this about the Venus person. The house person is willing to be swooned in the marriage with this Venus person. So it's really a nice thing to have. Yeah, and the house person really feels like if they are together with the Venus person is not going to bring a lot of conflict into the relationship. Whether that's true or not will depend on aspects, but they feel that, because remember that the house is how we see the world, and they're going to see the marriage through Venus, as Venus, so pleasant. So they're going to view that, oh, this Venus person is not one to be, fighting with me, is not one to be starting a war with me when I get married to him or her. And they're also probably not going to be sexually unresponsive to me. The house person feels like the Venus person will have a sense of seduction and will be sexually responsive, will be seductive within their marriage. And the house person will also really initiate this to happen. So they will be trying to, they might, depending on who the house person is, they might, say things like, could you seduce me? And the Venus person will do it. Or they could be like, let's do this and this and this, and the Venus person will do it. Will please the house person and likes to please the house person. The house person likes to make the Venus person please them, and they do it in a very nice and giving, receiving way as well. So I think at the most positive level of this placement, these two people can really keep a long-term commitment going for a while if there are not a lot of Pluto involved and negative Pluto involved, then they can keep this going for quite a while and have a pleasant time together. So that's my take on Venus in Partner's 7th house. If you have this with anyone that you know, then feel free to leave a comment below letting us know what your experiences have been with this one. And if there's anything else you want to add about this placement, then write them in the comments below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel to continue to join us on this astrology family and come with us on our growth journeys to grow together and to learn to have better relationships with other people. If you've already subscribed, thank you very much, guys. Thank you to everyone who has been subscribing and coming along, watching all these videos, and I'll see you very soon. Bye!